I'm going to start this KRV off with a gun observation. Nothing fancy. What, after all these years of doing these pistol reviews, is your favorite go-to-war handgun? The one you reach for most often. The one you integrate into your systems most often. You're looking at it. Glock 17, dude. There's your answer, honestly. There, I said it. I feel so much better now. Yeah, one of my HOF GTW handguns of all time is the G17. It's just what I use most frequently. It's just super light. I don't think it's that expensive. Super proven, awesome track record. On and on I could go. This is, again, the Davidson's exclusive coloration in Patriot Brown and Desert Tan. That's carrying a FDE TLR 1HL Streamlight that I bought off Amazon. Great combination. I got this at Impact Guns, link in the bottom. Tell them Nothing Fancy sent you. There'll be limited. I don't think there's that many of this coloration to go around. So it's factory done, which is awesome. You can tell because they took all the pins out when they sprayed it. This is Cerakote, both colorations. And so you have black contrast. I put the extended slide on. And I'm just going to run the factory sights on this, totally. I'm not even going to change them out, just run it. And I put a 3.5 pound connector in it, extended slide release. I got a Larry Vickers base plate and the Aerotech, or whatever that is, the Glock tool in the heel. Done. Awesome gun. So there's an answer for you. I'm just, it's sick. Sick. It doesn't mean I don't have SIGs, doesn't mean I don't use like all the other ones I talk about. I do. But if you're asking what I most use, it's kind of like Spyderco for knives. I mean, I reach for Spyderco's pretty much more than any other brand. Truth is truth. Hey, we're talking about not Spyderco's, but Microtech. And this is supposed to be a short review. I think it will be. And it's an OTF. Really cool blade, actually. And if you've been following the Nothing Fancy Knife Show for a number of years, you know that I came out with a special edition Ultratech. And I'll put a picture or something in here. I don't have one on the table. And they sold really quick, like within 1 hour or so. They're trading for much more than their original price of around $2.25. Very collectible, and I love it. I think it's a great EDC knife. It's beautiful. It's special. It's collectible. Each one is serial numbered. Has a TMP logo on it. I think a few I hand engraved. Very cool. Now, if you're thinking I'm going to come out with a special edition of this knife, I'm not. I'm not planning on it. Stay tuned. I mean, I don't live to do special editions. I don't. It's just once every few years I'll do something just for the viewers. You know, it's more hassle than it's worth it. It's just doing it for the viewership. This one, by the way, is called the UTX85, and it's kind of an ultra compact Ultratech. So it's a 70% of the size of an Ultratech. It is an out the front knife, as you can see. If you're new to out the front knives, you shouldn't be. If you watch the show, we've talked about them lots. The first thing that strikes me about this is, yes, the speed is very quick. The action is very positive, just like all Microtechs. But they've also lightened up the deployment and the retraction. Some of the Ultratechs in the past, include my edition, were kind of stiff. It's just the way Microtech was putting them together at the time. This one is pretty easy to deploy. Oh, they're fun to play with. They're so fun to play with. And that's probably the first philosophy of use. Why would you have an OTF knife? Just to play around with. You don't have to go out and spend the $300 on this one, though. I mean, it's an expensive knife for sure. But, I mean, there's some other ones that I've reviewed. They're very affordable OTF knives that are just amazing. But they won't have the collectability and the resale of this. Check this out. Even if it's not a special edition knife, most Microtechs, in my experience, will keep their value. If you keep the box, you keep the papers, you don't put wear and tear on it, you could probably go out 5 years later, I would say definitely 10 years later, and get your purchase price for that knife. So if you bought this knife in 2016, you enjoyed it, you used it lightly, maybe just fondled it in your office watching football or something, you could turn around and sell it for $300, says me, in 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe more, depending on how exclusive the edition was. And that's what Microtech does. They'll do exclusive handle colorations like this one. This is actually a carbon fiber and aluminum back. So CF, and it's rounded. It's smooth. Well, I shouldn't say it's contoured right here is what I'm trying to say. Each one is serial numbered. They've always been that way. This is actually, if you go to Blade HQ, on the table, it's right there, 03471. You see it? That's the one used in the tabletop review. Super cool. No, I don't have the money to buy this. It's just a loaner right now. Beautiful knife, though. Philosophy of use would be a play knife, something you just want to play with. Collectible, we've already kind of hit that. You just collect them. And to be honest, I'm a Microtech collector. I really love Microtechs. I've shown you some of my collection that I don't plan on ever selling. They're just too cool, too special, and they give me enjoyment. I just like them. You know, Tactical Doodle, my oldest son, to a lesser degree, Last Suspect, my youngest son will sit around, will fall into blades. Even now, we'll go, this is such a cool knife. We're such knife nerds. Even now, I mean, I've reviewed so many, it's easy to get jaded for sure. And I am kind of in a lot of ways, but I still like a good Microtech for sure. Excellent. The steel on this one is LMAX, so it's a powder metallurgy steel. We've talked about it a lot, so I won't go into it. Does it really matter though? Because is anyone actually going to go out and hard use this? Probably not. So this has the proprietary fasteners that Microtech does. You can get bits for it. I think BHQ sells those. I don't recommend taking these apart. They are such a nightmare to get back together. Don't do it, says me. I'm kind of jumping ahead looking at the handle. Might as well, I guess. And check this out on the UTX85. This is so cool. They finally got the jimping on the handle perfect. I've been talking to Microtech forever. I was like, why do you guys have jimping on your handle set when it doesn't do anything? It's not sharp enough. And man, they've corrected it. So here, this digs into the thumb, not uncomfortably, enough to provide traction. And also the deployment button is pretty sick. It's stepped. It provides high traction both in deploying and retracting the blade. And if you don't know, it won't go into you. It'll disengage as a safety measure. You guys should know that. So well done on the button. It's just perfect. Good jimping on the handle. I mean, it's really functional. That being said, I wouldn't think of this as a tactical blade because it's so small, but it could. I mean, you've got a fair amount of traction between the button and the jimping on the bottom. Again, it's 70% of the Ultratech, and I thought the Ultratech was small. In that review, I said it's a perfect EDC blade. I'll stick with that. Let's weigh this thing. It's going to weigh nothing, which is going to be a positive in my book. Always is. 2.8 ounces? Win. Oh, well done. 2.8 ounces. Awesome. So that's philosophy of use. The feel is excellent. Excellent steel. I love this blade shape. And I have Microtech, OTF Microtechs that have that, like the Scarab. I really love the clip blades, as opposed to the bayonet or something that's perhaps less useful. So this could function all day long in a utility role and actually a self-defense role if you had to. Speed is 5 out of 5. It's just perfect. Some Microtech. It's just perfect. Durability of these, it'll last forever. If you ever have a problem with it, send it back to Microtech. Yes, they may take their own sweet time getting it back to you, but they will get it back to you. They are a small company. I love Microtech. To this day, I just love them. Good lockup. Let's see if any wiggles there. Little bit. That's always present in an OTF knife. It has to be, otherwise it's too high friction. But I would say the tolerances are about as good as you can see in an OTF knife. A good example, I don't have it with me right now, is the Infidel by Benchmade. That's a pretty wiggly blade. Pretty wiggly, says me. How about the clip? It's really meant for a tactical pant. You can see that. See how broad it is? So it will go over that reinforced pocket. Multiple layers of fabric. I like the clip, actually. Does it kind of dish out a little bit too far? Well, kind of, but notice how they kind of angle it in, too, so it doesn't have a big old spoon bill on it. And then they have, here's the latest generation of glass breaker on the pommel end. They're always changing this, and this is also an interesting collectability feature of the Microtech. Actually, all their knives. So they're going to do different generations of this. This has all black hardware on this one. And I'm not the Microtech expert like a lot of guys are. They can tell you what was issued in each knife. I mean, in any, not just Microtech, anything, guns, knives. There's guys that are so into the details. I'm not that. I'll have a general notion of like, that's special, that's a limited coloration. And in this case, a new version of their glass breaker, which actually functions as an impact tool too. Kind of a painful impact tool. Look at it, how it fits the hand right here. So that's a philosophy of use I don't really talk about. How about value options? We talked about how you could resell it. I will stick by that. I think all day long you could get your money out of this thing. All the Microtechs that I've had, if I've ever wanted to get rid of them, and it's only been a few that I've done it to, I've gotten my money out of them and then some. There's some really limited ones that I have in my collection. I could probably get 3 times my purchase price on them if I sign them. I'm not making that up. I'm just telling you the way it is. They just go up. So $300 is a lot. I'm not going to tell you it is nothing. It's a lot. And it's probably going to go up. What I'm quoting you is a sale price at Blade HQ. So if you watch this video when it drops and you go on, I'm not sure when he's putting it on sale. I think it's going to be a Black Friday special for $300. It's probably going to be a lot more after that. But yeah, I would say it's worth it. There you go. Microtech, this cool. It's freaking sick, dude. I mean, maybe I should buy it. I'll scrape together some money. It's pretty cool. It'd be a cool cast member. Yeah, dude, it's sick. So, well done, Microtech. And this is a special coloration, or at least version, by Blade HQ as well. Knife Show TMP.